All right, so my name's Brady. I am live streaming, tattooing myself. Um, I am by no means an expert or even an amateur. Just a guy who is trying to get a little bit off of my mind more than anything, and just kind of share my experience with that as well. This will be, of course, recorded and shared at some later date on another platform to be determined. Um, Again, I'm not even an amateur at this, just discovering things as I'm going along, trial and error on a bunch of things, and trying to figure out not just what works well, but what works well for me. I can't say that I ordered any of my equipment off of Amazon, although some of it is available on Amazon. But a lot of these things that I've gotten directly from a manufacturer or from a direct third-party manufacturer for tattoo material. In my hand, you can see that I've got just a simple black outliner. Um, Right now, that's pretty much all I'm going to be working with is black outlines. On my leg here, you can see that I do have a stencil already applied. This is a narwhal. I know that that's not terribly close as I get along with this, as I go through this process, which I hope to do very regularly. Uh, then I'll probably add color, maybe shading, texture as I get a little bit practice myself as I um, come through the process better, I guess. So I'm going to be using a little bit of this black ink. I am going to be using a direct drive. As you can see, everything is wrapped in plastic that will be coming into contact with me, with the exception of this small bit of cabling here. But the rest of the cabling is wrapped. You can't see it right now, but my power supply is wrapped. I do not use a foot pedal. I actually had to hand jam together a kind of a switch, I guess you could say, out of different pieces. It works well for me because it's right in reach. I don't have to worry about wrapping a foot pedal and disinfecting the entire area around that as well. Although I do that before and after. So hopefully that'll be fine. I will be using, again, along with this ink, that particular tattoo machine, I will be using a nice round liner here. It is a 12-7 round liner. I'm not going to give a brand name. Maybe later at another time. I don't want to embarrass the brand. So I'm definitely going to stay away from putting any brand names up there as best as possible. I think I did let slip what the ink was, but that's okay. You can buy tattoo ink and stick and poke yourself with needles all day long. Not for me. I went ahead and dove into the mechanical, automated process of doing that. I will be applying a type of oil. It's actually an all natural um, plant-based oil as opposed to like a Vaseline or something like that. Um, Honestly, for no other reason than I like the smell and it was suggested. It does come in a tub, um, so uh, as I am not going to be tattooing anybody else, I can use this tub without any problem. But just in case, for the idea, not just in case I tattoo somebody else, but for the idea that I want to use this on my hands or my kids' hands, or my wife wants to use it for some reason because it does smell really good, and it does a good job of keeping the skin moisturized. I don't want to be dipping my hands into that and possibly contaminating them with something, or having something grow bacteria or virus, especially in this day and age, where viruses have done so many great things for us. um, I don't want to even come close to any kind of cross contamination. My desk, which you can't really see most of, is covered in saran wrap. The chair that I'm sitting in has saran wrap on it. Um, and I'm trying to do everything as best I can to keep things as clean as possible, so that I'm not sitting here just scratching away at myself and causing a whole lot of trauma, and then introducing some foreign, you know, flying object into it, and doing more damage. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and unwrap my tattoo cartridge that I'm using for the lining. I'm hoping that this one is big enough that I can. Oh, you're about to hear my dog go nuts. My son is just walking in. But I'm hoping that this liner will work for a little bit, the little bit of shading that I have. As you can see, that's not too small of a needle. I almost just stabbed myself in the hand, but yeah, not too small of a needle. Pretty large there, pretty large grouping. So hopefully I get a nice bold line. I'm not going to be going around these parts here, but I will be going around this. As I do that, it will smudge, it will fade. I know you probably can't see, but very faintly over here is a test that I did yesterday, and I've done everything that I can to this to get it to come off, to wipe off, soap, water, everything, and it just doesn't move. So even though this will smudge, it'll smear, it'll whatever, it shouldn't come off. Now let's see how we have our needles set here in the machine. Point, click, turn, right? Now I can adjust minorly. Well, I could while this is screwed in on the way, but I have this plastic on there. So I can adjust a little bit as to how far out this goes. On here you can see I already have it set to at least 5 millimeters. That's a lot. I'm not going to be digging that into me as I go. I won't be like pressing down. I might come at a sharper angle and it might look like I'm coming straight down on something, but I'm not. I should be coming in at a 45-degree angle. Now, what I have been trying to do is actually listen to people that do this for a living, um, and some more, I guess, intelligent amateurs like myself, and coming in and actually stretching the skin at a three-way point. So these two fingers, and with my backhand here, and I try to do a line and then lift up, right? I am not, well, you can see I don't have like tattoos all over my leg or anything. So I haven't done this a lot. The one time that I tried, I put a stencil on. Well, actually, I didn't even put a stencil on. I used a surgical marker, which, hey, if you're going big, that works great for me. It did not work great within 3 seconds of my touching my skin. I don't know if it was just nervousness and sweat, but that thing immediately turned to a blob of purple, and not very not very smart move from myself. I just went for it, um, and squiggly lines, proportions off. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and now uh, I have a permanent uh, ink blot, but it's my first ink blot, so I'm going to keep it for a while. So as I go into this, I imagine that I'm going to be shaken. My lines are going to be squiggly. Everything's going to be wrong, and I'm just going to keep going with it. We'll see how this goes. Again, I do expect smearing as I put this on. Hopefully, it will do enough to cover that I won't have to worry. I'm just putting a very thin layer on, that I won't have to worry about too much ink that I won't be able to blot out. Um, and instead we'll have a nice area that I can just kind of touch. You can see maybe a minor bit of smearing on the sides and a little bit here. Now this does look wonky. I put this on standing up. I suggest that if you are working with any piece of art, that you put it on standing up. And I know I'm talking a lot, like I know what it is that I'm doing. There he is, just peeking through. Let's cover that guy back up. So I know, I know it sounds like it. I kind of know what it is that I'm doing. I know the theory, but I also know the theory of flying a helicopter. Everyone would die if I did that. So that's knowing the theory and not really knowing what it is that you're doing. So without further ado, I'll just hit the switch over here. Oh, wait. Why would I do that when I haven't even loaded my ink yet? Let's go ahead and do that. If you guys are curious, if you've never had a tattoo, or um, it's been a long time since you've had one, these things, these little top hat looking doodads, like I put one on. I just used a little bit of the butter here that I'm using on my tattoo. But I just applied that here, and that's all the ink that I have to waste on myself as I go through this. So that is really cool. Um, oh, got a little bit on my missing a little bit there. Missed the top hat. Let's go ahead and shake that up a little bit. Completely unlike the sound of actually getting the tattoo, which is a lot more fun. Get out of here, dog. Look, I'm trying to keep the animals away because I know somebody's going to see this and they're going to be like, oh, animal dander. You're going to die of infection. Maybe. But if you guys knew the whole story of why it is that I'm doing this, maybe maybe you'd understand that that's not too big of a deal for me. So, all right. So I filled that little top hat, not all the way. I don't think that I would need all the way. In the process, I've also made a mess with my ink. So I'm just going to clean that up. And hopefully that seals it up nice and tight. Good, good, good. All right. Another little wipe. Okay, I will get a clean paper towel ready for the dabbing that's about to happen as I stab myself a lot with a tiny needle. Large needle. Looks pretty big to me. All right. So, without further ado, let's turn on the Daka Daka machine. Yeah. You can see that needle's coming out. Let's see if it'll focus. Don't focus it too hard. It's coming out pretty far. That irregular sound that you hear is where my machine is actually bagged up, and so it's hitting that rotator arm. But I've got it loose enough in there; it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So again, I'm just going to try this line over here. 45-degree angle, three-way pull, and come in a little bit sharper than that. And back this way. Whew, that does not feel awesome. Okay. Stab, see where we are. Yay, I hit all the lines. Okay. Three-way pull. Come back this way. See, if I was smart, I would have started up closer to the horn and worked my way down, and that way, as I was smudging up my my design, I would be only smudging up the areas that I hit. So I'm just going to make sure that I have enough ink. I'm sure I do, but I haven't worked with this needle before, and I can't see how well loaded it is. So let's do, see how shaky my hand is. It's only surgery, guys. It's not that big of a deal, right? And try to come back down this way. Shaky, shaky, shaky. Oh my goodness. What a shake that was. All right. Let's see just how bad that was. Right there. Oh man. Just go back over it again. It's not what you want to do. You definitely want to do everything that you possibly can in one pass. But I didn't. Get these little lines in here, there, 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 and there. Not the ugliest narwhal I've ever seen. All right, so we got the horn in. That's pretty sweet. Let's work on some of this other stuff, shall we? Let's come back over here. We'll pull that nice and tight. And draw. Man, I'm so glad that I'm not doing this to somebody else. See how I've kind of pulled up just a little bit there? Right there. Ooh, that is something else. Okay, pull up. And a little bit more. Back on that line. And all the way home, right to that tail. Look at all that ink. My goodness. We're really laying in on ourselves. We're making a mess. And it's kind of fun. It's a lot of fun. I have a good time doing this. I actually, even though it's like terrible, right? Like this is, there are much better jailhouse tattoos. Um, this is just super exciting for me. Whenever I get done, like even that's the horrible little thing that you can kind of see at the very top up here. Ooh. I still felt like the king of the world afterwards. I mean, I guarantee there are people that go through their whole entire lives, like some kind of tribe or hunter-gatherer types or whatever. Back in the day, go through their whole life just waiting for that rite of passage of getting that tattoo, of getting that ink that makes them like part of the tribe or adjustment to being a man or whatever, that coming of age kind of story. And there's people that do that. There's people that did do that it was their job to make the boys and the girls into adults. And this was part of it. It's like a rite of passage that's just super, super awesome to think that there was a first person that did it too. I might not know what the hell I'm doing most of the time, but after doing this about 50 or 60 times, maybe I'll know a little bit more. Why would you cover yourself with 50 or 60 shitty tattoos? Because you get to walk away knowing that you did like 50 or 60 tattoos. And, I'm a collector of small things. I love tiny things. My house is tiny. My wife is tiny. My toys are tiny, with exception to a giant SUV that costs $1 million in this day and age. Other than that, like everything's small and tiny and awesome. Let's add a little bit more of that right in there. Okay. And my dog. My dog's not tiny either, but I mean, she's hardly my dog. She's the rest of the family's dog. My cat, however, he is tiny only physically. He thinks he's a giant. All right. See, I'm like shaking him that way, so we'll come in. Oops. Let's come back in and join that up. And right there. I don't want that to fall out. All right. Now, got a big line, starts about right here. It goes all the way around. Oh man, that is something else. Whew. I think I hurt a little bit. Okay. Yeah. See where it went back in. I was like, yeah, I'll just touch that up a little bit. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll maybe I'll make some of these lines a little bolder. Maybe I should do that another time. Hamburger meat. Just doing it, man. All right. So let's get a good look at this, shall we? I know you're not supposed to wipe. You're supposed to dab, but honestly, like, I hit just about every line that I need to. Uh, so wiping it isn't that big of a deal. It's not like I'm taking the stencil off. Yeah, you can see, like, I'm super shaky, super nervous, right? I'm just gonna go back over a couple of these areas here, see what we can do. Maybe try to not knock the shake out of them, but you know, maybe stop them from looking so wiggly, right? Maybe if I have a whole bunch of wiggly lines, it won't look so wiggly. That's not the right mentality, honestly. Like, if somebody was doing this to me, if I was paying for this, whew, we'd have some words. The good news is, I'm not paying for this. The bad news is I'll pay for this later. Just kidding. I actually love doing this. Just so you guys know, my background, where I come from, is actually, at one point in time, a graphic designer. I did that for a good long time, actually. Started off wanting to do illustrations in my previous life, and yeah, now I'm doing illustrations on the coolest canvas ever. Again, just going in here, trying to touch some of this up. I don't have the luxury. What's that? I don't have the luxury of like walking around this either, you know. So yeah, see, look at that. What did I do? What did he do? Tell you what he did. He made a thicker line. I know. The more you can go in one pass, the better. Let's be honest. I am not anywhere close to a professional. It's funny though, like my art skills really aren't as bad as what I make this look like. They're not great, but they're not so bad as to be like, what, this guy, what's he thinking doing this to himself? I mean, you can do that, say that all you want. With these elements here, join them up and run this out a little bit. Hopefully the skin will fall properly. All right, so we have this really heavy top line. Still have this crazy mistake over here. Let's see, we'll try to fix that just a little bit. Tiny little circles in that area. And tiny little circles in this area. Okay. Dab, dab, dab. And we have a nice heavy, nice. We have a heavy area right there. Go ahead and maybe do a couple, try to make it a little bit heavier this side. Not exactly, again, you know, if I was paying for this, I'd be so pissed. What are you doing, man? Did you just tattoo that? Did you sneeze? But I think honestly, you really have to care at that point. Not to say I don't, care totally, or else I wouldn't be doing this, right? But I will say that it's, this is kind of all fun and games to me. Would I like to learn how to do this proper? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I know, just judging from this, right? Like, I have way too much shake for a good long solid line. I can do these lovely little, more sketchy, almost freehand kind of, but not freehand. All right. You go happy years. He's a happy little narwhal. Happy narwhal. All right. So we continue to stab and jab at our leg just a little bit longer here. I think I can round out these eyes a little bit better. So I actually contacted somebody that does this for a living and asked them for a little bit of help. I won't say that they didn't, that they ignored me or anything like that, but I mean, this is as far as jobs go. Whenever you do this for a living, this is a cutthroat industry, man. Like, he might think that I'm just some joker who would want to start up a some kind of studio or something like that, which is obviously not the case right now, right? Like, look at this. This is far from what I would consider to be professional work. Um, that's not me crying, although I probably should. But another thing, you don't want to be like, yeah, I taught that guy everything he knows, and then see him show up on Twitch streaming some horrendous nonsensical bullcrap. Like, that color is just not sticking in there. I kind of felt like it wouldn't. I've seen people with a lot more experience than me who have definitely put in the work and the time, and they've got this. Like, they say things like, "Yeah, watch me use this round shader or round liner for shading, or watch me use this round shader for lining," and it's like, what the hell? That looks easy. It's not. Look, I'm totally butchering myself. All right, guys. Think maybe got a little bit more left in me, and then we're gonna pause on this dude. Might clean him up a little bit later. And there's little eyeballs there. And yes, I am wiping because I do want to see as best as possible. Again, that stencil is going nowhere. I kind of want to see the shape of the narwhal. I have I have honestly I have seen worse tattoos. I'm in the military though, so that doesn't, or for a little bit longer anyway. I'm in the military, And it doesn't surprise me that I've seen worse tattoos. And I've seen people pay a lot more for them than free. So let's go here. See where that goes. See, I'm spattering that ink everywhere. Really need to lay down some more of this. A little barrier between the ink and my skin. Soften that up a little bit too. Nice little meat tenderizer. Oh no, I'm running low on the ink in there. Okay. Dab on that. Trying really hard too to not have a blowout. Okay. Good, good, good. Good, good, good. Nothing good about it, bro. That is one ugly tattoo, but it's mine. Actually, I had someone today tell me not to tattoo my kids. Like, that's a thing? Like, people tattoo their kids? It's, I mean, free practice? I don't know. Can't say I would ever dream of tattooing my kids. I have one kid who would probably love to tattoo himself. And, I'm not gonna try to thicken this one up, but I am gonna just try to clean it up just a little bit. Go through. Smooth it out. Again, on the shaky side. No babes. It isn't shaky. Tattoo artists, that's it. They're not shaky. Surgeons. Surgeons aren't shaky. They might be once. Alright guys, so that's pretty much what I got. Happy little narwhal on the leg. And just go ahead and turn off this machine. I'm going to pop off camera real quick. I did not prepare for my green soap, so give me 1 second. I'm just going to rinse this off a bit. Just a bit. That's good. That's good. And finally, pat down. Ooh, he looks sad. Didn't he look sad? He looks so sad. Okay. Let's hit it one more time. I'm not trying to wipe any of the ink out of it, but I definitely want to make sure that where I thickened up those lines, you can still see some faint traces. I'll probably go back once I have some different needles and this is healed a bit, clean this dude up a lot. I'm pretty excited about trying color and shading at some point in time. So as that happens, of course, it will be on here given the time. So yeah, see that nobody came in to say anything on the chat. That's cool. Who would think to? And that being said, I should be back doing this again, maybe even as early as tomorrow, as we just keep throwing stuff down. I've got just a few ideas, a couple pages, different things on them. All of them really simple lines, and maybe eventually I'll get to the point where I blend them all into something a little bit more cohesive. But I mean, let's be honest, right now they're pretty much just permanent stickers. So thanks for viewing this if you're watching the recording, and yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Oh, somebody did. Yeah.
Somebody watched?
Yep.
Can you tell for how long?
Like the last second, I think.